I know what I wanted. I wanted this family. I wanted too much for my sister wives. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Please hit the subscribe button and give this episode a thumbs up. Kody Brown, star of Sister Wives, is accustomed to provoking controversy, but this time he's exchanging the drama of polygamy for military exercises. The celebrity recently appeared in Special Forces, World's Toughest Test Season 4. Even though he overcame some difficult obstacles, his comments attracted as much interest as his performance. He got a larger platform and a louder microphone for his most recent TV project, but is he making good use of them? The seasoned reality TV star acknowledged that some of his viewpoints may sound sexist, and he wasn't incorrect. Kody gave viewers a lot to think about, from his concept of what makes a man strong to his conviction that women crave love above all else. His time in Special Forces is demonstrating that his mental toughness is more important than his physical stamina. His remarks immediately stoked discussion among followers who were already familiar with his background. Robyn Brown, one of the sister wives, was concerned about Kody's Special Forces stunt. Robyn didn't want him to enter Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, because she worries about everyone, according to Sister Wives actress Kody Brown. He revealed that before he approached her, she had avoided talking about it for about 2 months. "I know you're going to do it," Robyn acknowledged. "I am unable to stop you." Although Kody acknowledged that the choice may have been stupid, he claimed to have enjoyed the challenge and considered it spiritual, as it inspired him to maintain his fitness. The couple often avoids watching their own show, but surprisingly, Robyn now wants to see him on screen. Robyn will watch, Kody said. But his ex-wives probably won't. Kody's most sexist remarks about sister wives in Special Forces. Kody informed cameras early in the season debut that he believes men and women have different emotional requirements. "Men want to be respected," he said, "while women want to be loved." He went on to clarify that he doesn't care if people love him, but respect is something that cannot be compromised. Viewers found this comment to be both direct and out of date. He continued after that. Kody also asserted that to do hard things is to be good at being a man. His definition of manhood, which was centered only on toughness and self-improvement, was a wonderful fit for the Special Forces environment. However, it also mirrored the strict gender norms he had previously expressed. Completing these difficult tasks was more important to Kody than simply completing the course. It served to strengthen his reputation as a capable masculine leader. Kody went on to say that his kids were a major source of inspiration for him. "The show gave me a chance to fight back against both aging and doubt." He said he wanted people to see that he could still do the impossible and fight off the image of being an old man. He believed that demonstrating perseverance to his children was just as important as making it through the program. But in the performance, was he even truthful? "No," is the response. Kody acknowledged employing a self-defense tactic. He once pretended to wheeze during workouts in order to get the teachers to stop pushing him. Some people might find it ingenious, but others see it as just another instance of Kody breaking the law to further his personal interests. He is always looking for methods to take charge in difficult circumstances. Robyn Brown, a sister wife, calls her husband Kody a pig for wanting a second wife. Season of Sister Wives is off to a tumultuous start for viewers. Tensions between Kody Brown and his current wife, Robyn, are already building as the Brown family gets ready to make a comeback on TLC screens. Viewers have seen Kody manage life with several spouses throughout the years. However, the family dynamic has changed as a result of recent separations. Since Christine, Janelle, and Meri have all divorced Kody, he and Robyn are the only pair living together. The potential addition of a second sister bride is the main topic of discussion in the teaser for the upcoming season. Robyn's response indicates that she is not at all on board with the concept, even though Kody has entertained it. The tone for what seems to be a season full of emotional tension, miscommunications, and candid confessions is established by their chat over a dinner date. Sister Wives, Kody makes jokes about Robyn in the trailer for season in the teaser for Sister Wives season. Kody Brown reveals a new side. He makes fun of Robyn for the first time, referring to her as the wife who prevents him from being naughty. He then laughs slightly. Is there problems in their paradise, since this was the first time he made fun of his wife? Conversely, Kody is attempting to patch things up with Christine, Janelle, and Meri in one-on-one conversations. Additionally, he gets an email from a woman who wants to become a member of the family. As they ultimately wrap up the Kody Pass chapter, Robyn will battle Meri and Janelle. PM. On September th, the new season will debut. ET. On TLC. Sister Wives, Robyn's irate response to Kody's confession. Kody recently voiced his worries about his relationship with Robyn in a video. Something so unique may be jeopardized, he explained. He makes a suggestion that he might think about taking a different wife for a reason he knows Robyn wouldn't entirely agree with. Robyn cuts him off before he can say anything more, stressing that there is no guarantee of success. Kody then acknowledges that sexual attraction serves as his primary motivation. He acknowledges that his interest in a new relationship at this point in his life would mostly be based on how attractive she is. However, he asserts that he also desires an emotional connection. Robyn swiftly highlights how flimsy this logic appears to be. This is the very worst reason, she tells him, emphasizing that he is not entirely aware of his appearance. Robyn doesn't hold back during a confession. Kody was described by her as a bit of a pig. Over any fleeting attraction, she cherishes their emotional connection. For fans, this scene emphasizes the difference between Robyn's need for stability and deep connection, and Kody's impetuous physical approach. Kody's previous relationships with his ex-wives are also mentioned in the plot. Although some viewers might find the prospect of a second wife intriguing, Christine has already voiced concerns that this choice could backfire. She says that Kody shouldn't ruin their relationship because it feels like a soulmate connection. Viewers will probably witness how Kody strikes a balance between his needs and Robyn's unambiguous boundaries as season promises more family conflict. Although the arena this time looks considerably different from the typical desert landscapes of Kody Pass, or the living rooms full of tense family arguments, Meri Brown, the head of the well-known Sister Wives family, has once again taken center stage. As part of his most recent television endeavor, Kody is now trekking through mud, crawling under barbed wire, and experiencing bone-chilling circumstances rather than negotiating the difficulties of plural marriage. He just participated in the latest season of Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, a reality show that puts famous people in uncomfortable situations and puts them through survival tests akin to those faced by the military. Kody's narrative has been linked to his multiple families' disintegration for years. Viewers of Sister Wives have seen him battle to mend connections with several of his children, lose 3 marriages, and cling tenaciously to his life with Robyn, his surviving wife. But this time, instead of talking about property conflicts at Kody Pass or defending his shifting allegiances, Kody has decided to put his fortitude to the test in front of a national audience by substituting combat-style endurance for family feuds. However, as is customary, his involvement on the show has shifted the focus from the physical challenges to his unpopular opinions, direct statements, and his family's response to his newfound need for approval. Robyn's unwilling assistance and fear. The response. Robyn Brown, Kody's only surviving wife, is among the most startling insights to emerge from this ordeal. Kody said Robyn was first apprehensive about enrolling in the harsh military-style curriculum. She ignored his references to it in silence for weeks, refusing to even talk about it. Robyn saw this as more than just another TV show. It was a perilous commitment that put her husband in danger physically, and thus jeopardized the tenuous feeling of stability she had attempted to preserve since their several households fell apart. Robyn was eventually questioned by Kody regarding her evasion. He clarified that her answer was resigned and instructive. "I know you're going to do it." It was a statement of grudging acceptance, similar to Robyn's relationship with Kody throughout their marriage. "There's no way I can stop you." She frequently presents herself as the encouraging spouse. But underneath, she is really concerned about his choices and how they may impact the family. Robyn gradually moved to a position of cautious support in spite of her worries. She indicated an uncommon willingness to watch his Special Forces episodes, even though she and Kody had frequently avoided watching their own show together because of the awful reality depicted on camera. something deeper is revealed by her change. Maybe she views this as an opportunity for the world to see a Kody she believes in. A man who can persevere, battle, and establish himself outside of the heartbreaking story of broken marriages. Christine's diverse perspective. Christine Brown, the first wife to depart, has a completely different perspective on Kody's time in Special Forces than Robyn, who observes with an encouraging composure. Christine has expressed her dissatisfaction with Kody's lack of effort with their kids, especially when he was absent for significant life events. She finds it far more amazing when he shows up for his children's birthdays, graduations, and late-night talks than when she watches him exert himself in a demanding survival course. According to Christine, she used to put in a lot of effort to persuade her children that their father loved them, frequently comforting them even when his words didn't match his deeds. The story she attempted to maintain gradually lost credibility with the kids. In light of this, Christine believes that Kody's ambition to prove himself as a man on national television is misguided. She has stated that his kids required more affection and presence than outward displays of toughness. Christine does, however, hold out hope that this renewed vigor may one day be directed toward his kids. She made it clear in her recent remarks that she thinks Kody has the capacity to change. She understood that reconciliation is a continuous process and that relationships require time. She was wary about giving her ex-husband too much credit too soon, though, and her tone conveyed the weight of a mother who had been let down too often. Kody's divisive statements on respect and manhood. It was inevitable that Kody's time on Special Forces would come under examination, and his own statements made sure that fans would have much to analyze. He expressed his opinions about the differences between men and women early in the season, saying that men want to be respected and women want to be loved. Online discussions were triggered by the comment right away, with some criticizing it as misogynistic and out of date. On the other hand, supporters contended that Kody was merely expressing stereotypical views on gender. In any case, the comment demonstrated how Kody still bases his identity on respect, which he has consistently sought from his wife and kids, frequently more so than love or empathy. Kody reiterated his definition of masculinity in another instance, declaring that to do hard things is to be good at being a man. For him, the course was more than just a contest. It was a test of his own significance. He wanted his kids to perceive him as someone who could still take on the impossible, even if he was getting older and his reputation had been damaged by family drama. Viewers, however, did not miss the irony. Kody, who has frequently been chastised for not addressing the emotionally taxing hard things in his family, was now challenging himself to scale walls and endure frigid seas. It confirmed for several admirers that Kody would rather make showy displays of strength than deal with the more difficult task of vulnerability and reconciliation. His approach. Having fun versus dealing with reality. Kody's admission that he feigned wheezing during exercises to get out of more punishment from the instructors was possibly the most illuminating moment. Where does the truth really start? And more to the point, where does it stop? In the explosive new season premiere of Sister Wives, we watched Meri Brown, formerly the quiet, reserved first wife, dish out what can only be called a verbal dismantling of Kody Brown himself. But what you didn't see on television, that's only the surface. What if the footage that made it onto TLC's cameras was carefully trimmed, cut, and reassembled to hide the full story? What if Meri's anger wasn't just about one argument, but years of financial betrayals, legal disputes, and deeply personal humiliation? Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden layers of that season premiere. Leaked production memos, courtroom whispers, and confidential testimony all depict a very different reality from the smiling family front. And when you do hear all the details, you'll see why insiders are dubbing this the beginning of the end of the Brown dynasty. Remember, this is the same Meri who used to plead with Kody for even the tiniest crumb of respect while secretly gazing on as Robyn rose to the top of the family food chain. The same Meri who was informed her input was less valuable than others. And yet here she is in a crowded living room, shouting back at the man who spent years keeping her quiet, according to one production insider, TLC bosses couldn't believe what they were hearing as Meri ranted about Kody on camera. A few questioned whether the network could broadcast the footage unedited in fear of a legal backlash. That says it all about how incriminating her statements were. Although here is where this gets even more unbelievable. According to several insiders, Meri's tirade wasn't impromptu. It was scripted. Evidence indicates she had already consulted lawyers and accountants prior to cameras ever rolling. In other words, this wasn't just a reality television outburst. It was the opening shot of a much bigger war. The season opener gave us a taste of Meri's fury. But what TLC didn't show, that's where the real story begins. Exclusive notes from someone present on set that day reveal that Meri's confrontation with Kody lasted more than minutes. On television, you only saw a few edited minutes, carefully chopped up to appear as just another marital spat. But our source tells us the fight escalated into areas TLC has skirted for years. Money, fraud, and favoritism. What was edited out? Meri insists that Kody account for the dollar of family money that disappeared during the move to Flagstaff. Witnesses say she stared right at Robyn and declared, "We all know where it went." That line never made it to the final cut. Consider this for a second. Why would TLC cut out something like that? To keep Kody safe? To keep Robyn safe, or to keep themselves, the network, safe from involvement in money secrets? They'd rather the world not know. But here's the behind-the-scenes twist. Production crew members heard Meri inform Janelle off camera that she had documents ready in case Kody kept lying. According to one staffer, it went like this. It was like Meri came to war prepared. She wasn't just ranting, she was compiling a case. And that case, rumor has it, is more than just a television drama. We're talking about legal filings, possibly civil, possibly criminal, that could drag Kody and Robyn into courtrooms far away from the TLC set. Remember, this isn't the first time the Browns' finances have raised eyebrows. Leaked property deeds, questionable business ventures, and inconsistent tax records have all been reported in the past. But for Meri to speak out on camera in front of Kody, with lawyers allegedly already backing her, that marks a turning point big time. And here is the thing that makes it even more dramatic. Sources claim TLC cameras caught Meri actually standing up, pointing at Kody and saying, "You can't silence me anymore." The room went silent. Kody's face, one producer said, went from red to white in seconds. If that is what we didn't see in the premiere, just imagine what else has been left on the cutting room floor. For over a decade, fans have seen Meri Brown struggle to maintain her spot within the family. She was Kody's first wife, the lawfully wedded wife for years, the mother who raised the children before most of the rest even entered the equation. And yet, season after season, what did she receive? Distance, isolation, excuses. In this explosive season premiere, we witnessed a different Meri. A woman who looked like she had finally decided enough was enough. During one of the most tense exchanges, Meri told Kody point blank, "I begged for your time, I begged for your attention, and you've handed it all to Robyn." For fans who've been following the series since the early days, that line hit like a thunderclap. But it wasn't just the words, it was the way she said them. Witnesses in the room say Meri's voice shook. Not from fear, but from years of suppressed anger boiling to the surface. And then came the cutaway shots. Robyn crying, dabbing her eyes with a tissue, looking every bit the innocent bystander. But those who were actually on set insist Robyn's reaction wasn't nearly as fragile as TLC portrayed. One crew member leaked this. Robyn wasn't crying. She was smirking until the cameras turned in her direction. That is a different narrative than what fans were given. And it fits a pattern that is becoming increasingly difficult to deny. Think of the optics. Kody nearly radiates whenever Robyn speaks, brushing aside Janelle's questions and shutting down Meri with icy indifference. This season's pilot episode just made the favoritism irrefutable, and that favoritism Meri intimated isn't emotional. It is financial. Because if Meri's insinuations about dwindling funds were accurate, Robyn wasn't merely Kody's favorite wife. She was the recipient of choices that reduced the others to struggling. Now here is where things become even more raw. When Meri uttered, "I should have left years ago," you could hear the sound of an audible gasp in the studio. For the first time, it wasn't only home fans wondering why she remained. It was Meri herself. Here's what you have to know about reality television. You only see what the producers want you to see. The Sister Wives season premiere is a text casebook one. Insiders have confirmed that at least a half of Meri's tussle with Kody didn't air. Why? Because those moments didn't just make Kody appear bad. They raised questions TLC doesn't want to answer. One anonymous editor explained it this way. We were instructed to make it look like a normal family disagreement. But it wasn't. It was money. Lots of money. Audiences witnessed Meri discussing being overlooked. That is safe. Feel-good television. But what they weren't shown was her insisting that Kody must explain how he could pay for Robyn's Flagstaff estate while explaining to the other wives that there wasn't enough for necessities. Just imagine that, a scene in which a wife confronts her husband directly for being financially discriminatory, reduced to a few moments of sorrowful music and tears from Robyn and another trick that TLC employed. Splicing of reactions, that crying shot of Robyn that you just witnessed. Multiple insiders insist that moment was filmed hours later in a different part of the set. They placed it after Meri's outburst to make Robyn look like the victim. It's manipulative editing, and it worked. Viewers at home felt sorry for Robyn, but if the footage had been aired uncut, fans might have seen her differently, maybe even as the one profiting most from the family's chaos, the most shocking detail. A call sheet leaked from the set supposedly indicates a halt in filming immediately after Meri screamed about fraud. Cameras halted for almost minutes as producers grappled with whether to continue filming. That pause never aired. So consider this. If TLC is going to conceal explosive accusations made against one of its own star wives, what else are they keeping under wraps for viewers? Because let's be clear. This wasn't about saving face for Meri. This was all about defending the Brown family brand and, by association, defending TLC's bottom line. If you want to get to the source of Meri's tantrum, ignore the tears, ignore the screaming, follow the money. Kody has been telling the wives and the camera crew over the years that the family is broke, that Coyote Pass is not going to be developed, that relocating was too costly, that sacrifices had to be made. But as Meri noted in that never-aired segment, the sacrifices always fell on the same group. Take Robyn's Flagstaff house. Public records indicate it was bought for about a huge mansion with room for her kids, her business endeavors, and naturally, her position as Kody's favorite, while Meri was bounced into a rental home without any real estate under her name, without a stake in assets she helped create. Fans long suspected there was favoritism at play, but Meri's allegations hardened suspicion into something more tangible: accusation of misuse. She asked on television. How can you claim there is no money for me for Janelle, for Christine? But there is always money available for Robyn. That line never aired. But insiders say Kody's reaction was telling. He didn't deny it. Instead, he deflected, shifting blame to TLC's paychecks, to property taxes. Even to Meri's supposed lack of contribution, a defense that producers apparently decided was too damaging to his image to broadcast in full. And then there's the LLCs. Yes, the family has several business filings, some with connections to Robyn, others with connections to Coyote Pass that quietly named Kody and Robyn as managers. Meri left in the cold. Janelle mentioned barely at all. Christine not mentioned at all. That dynamic is significant because when Meri said to him, "I built this family with you and you erased me from it," she wasn't speaking of love. She was talking about the financial erasure that's been playing out for years. Robyn's kids in private schools, Robyn's online jewelry business propped up with family funds. Robyn's mortgage payments were secured while others were told to be patient. Meri's explosion in the season opener wasn't random. It was the culmination of years of watching her role shrink. While watching Robyn's empire grow, and if what Meri hinted at the missing dollar is true, this isn't just a story about favoritism. It's a story about financial fraud. Meri's outburst didn't just shock Kody, it sent ripples through the entire family dynamic. For years, Christine and Janelle have carried their own grievances, but they rarely jumped into Meri's battles. This time it was different, according to set leaks. Christine was the first to break the silence. After Meri's accusations about missing funds, Christine leaned forward and said, "She's not wrong, Kody. We've all seen it." That line didn't make the final cut, but crew members insisted hit Kody like a punch to the gut for a guy accustomed to pitting wives against one another. It was a surprise to see Christine defend Meri and Janelle. She allegedly produced her own receipts. Sources say she mentioned unpaid property tax on Coyote Pass, reminding Kody that while Robyn's house was protected, the family's valued land remained in limbo. One producer described the moment as the closest we've ever seen Janelle come to outright rebellion. The tension in that room was palpable. On one side, Kody and Robyn, defensive, cornered, scrambling to control the narrative. On the other, Meri, Christine and Janelle, finally aligned, voices raised, exposing the cracks that fans have suspected for years. But here's where TLC's editing is most telling. Rather than present this united front, the last episode broke to talking heads, to extended pauses, to Kody going on about being misunderstood. The wives never presented themselves standing together defiantly. Why not? Because that solidarity undermines the very drama TLC feeds on. And still, those who witnessed it say it transpired. One insider summed it up succinctly. For the first time, Kody looked outnumbered. He didn't know what to do. Christine even pushed it further, directly questioning him. Are you building a family, or are you building Robyn's kingdom? Undefined, that question seemed to linger in the air, unaddressed, before the cameras were suddenly cut off. And in that instant, the dynamics changed. Undefined for years, Kody's power was based on splitting his wives. But while Meri hurled accusations at him and Christine and Janelle refused to remain quiet, Kody's grip on power started to lose its hold. The explosive premiere wasn't merely about Meri speaking her mind. Undefined, it was about the other wives catching on, too. If ever there was a moment when Kody Brown's faith broke wide, it was then, with Meri taking the lead and Christine and Janelle supporting her. Kody didn't remain composed. He burst, according to insiders. His voice was raised so high that boom mics on the crew had to be lowered. His initial defense: denial. That is not true. None of that is true, he growled, pacing the room like a trapped beast. But when pushed for details, Kody dodged. Suddenly, it wasn't about Robyn's mansion. It wasn't about the missing dollar comma. It was about Meri's betrayal, Kody reportedly yelled. You've been against me for years. Don't pretend this is about money when it is about you being disloyal. Classic deflection. And fans who've seen him long enough know the drill. Turn every accusation back at the wives, deflect the blame, steer clear of the receipts. But this time the wives did not back down. Witnesses described Meri laughing, a harsh, sharp laugh before she responded. Disloyal. I've been loyal to a man who erased me. If that is loyalty, then what do you call siphoning family funds into one wife's bank account? The room fell silent. Even producers held back, and Kody, he lashed out again, this time pounding his hand on the table so forcefully that the crew winced. You don't understand how hard I've worked for this family, he yelled. But the wives weren't buying it, Christine reportedly shot back. No, Kody, you've worked for Robyn. And here's what TLC didn't air. Kody, storming out of the room mid-filming cameras, recorded him tearing off his mic pack and complaining about being ambushed for close to minutes. Production tried to talk him down before he came back, red-faced and visibly agitated. When the footage was eventually edited, what audiences saw was a sanitized version, Kody brooding, sighing, complaining about ungrateful wives. What they didn't see was the raw, unfiltered meltdown of a patriarch watching his empire disintegrate in real time. Because, make no mistake, this wasn't just Kody losing his temper. This was Kody losing control, with Kody storming out and the wives holding the line. Everyone looked to Robyn, and as expected, her first action was tears. Crew members tell us she reached for a tissue before even saying anything, her voice shaking as she glanced at Meri and Christine. I don't know why you think I am the enemy. I didn't ask for any of this to viewers who didn't live it. It may have seemed sympathetic. But those in the know say the wives weren't fooled. Meri, in particular, wasn't impressed. She apparently interjected brusquely. "You didn't need to ask Robyn. You profited from it." That exchange, Meri standing up to Robyn, was apparently charged. Janelle nodded in assent. Christine glared daggers, and for the first time, Robyn's tears didn't melt the room. They toughened it up. Robyn's second line of defense. Blame the network. She reportedly insisted that TLC was making decisions regarding money, that she didn't have input on the contracts or the payments. But production insiders confirmed that wasn't entirely true. Several business filings feature Robyn's name and Kody's name together, linking her directly to assets and income streams that did not involve the other wives. Christine allegedly shot back. "So TLC purchased your home. TLC paid for your mortgage. Or was that money from our family?" Robyn's face fell, and that is when the camera supposedly cut away. What remained in the final broadcast was Robyn crying about being misunderstood. What God admitted was the moment her excuses fell apart under the pressure of the other wives' interrogations. One insider succinctly summed up, "Robyn has always used tears to deflect, but this time the wives weren't fazed. They saw the pattern too clearly." And here is the kicker. In leaked raw footage, Robyn is reported to have whispered to Kody off camera, "You don't have to explain anything to them." That line, if broadcast, would have shattered the tenuous illusion of innocence TLC strained so hard to preserve. Instead, the public saw a cleaned-up version, but others in the room noticed something different. Robyn cornered, her defenses crumbling, her favored wife status finally revealed, and for Meri, it was the turning point. Up to this point, it could have been just another blowout argument, but Meri saw to it that it wasn't allowed to end there, according to several who were there. Meri didn't just accuse. She threatened. She supposedly informed Kody and Robyn that she possessed proof of the money games being played, proof that extended way beyond rumor. One insider detailed the scene. Thus she reached into her purse, took out a folder, and placed it on the table. She did not open it, but the message was obvious. She had receipts. Receipts for what? Sources indicate they were duplicates of property records, bank transfers, and even possibly communications. Related to the infamous Coyote Pass fiasco, Meri allegedly asserted that more than $1 of family money were channeled to pay for Robyn's bills when the other wives were left in limbo. Kody's reaction? Outrage. He supposedly charged Meri with snooping and referred to her as vindictive. But pay attention to what he didn't do. He didn't dispute the numbers. And this is where things get even more intriguing. Production sources buzz that TLC executives started getting jumpy the minute Meri uttered legal action. At one point, she reportedly said, "If this doesn't change, I'll let the judge decide." That's the kind of line you'll never see on camera, because the second lawyers and judges enter the conversation, the network risks turning a family drama into a criminal or civil scandal, and TLC has no interest in opening that box. But think about it. Why would Meri take documents to a family shoot if she wasn't going to use them? Why would she risk the confrontation if she didn't have backup? This wasn't just a wife bashing out. This was a wife building a case. And here is the kicker. One of the crew members says they witnessed Meri slipping the folder to Christine after shooting ended. Christine reportedly said, "We'll need these." If that's true, it means Meri's battle isn't ending in the living room. It's heading somewhere far more dangerous. For Kody, for Robyn, and maybe even for TLC itself. The moment Meri slammed down that folder, the drama stopped being just a family squabble. Suddenly, TLC found itself with a bona fide problem. Several insiders report that production executives were present that day, observing from the sidelines. And when Meri made veiled references to judges and evidence, panic went wild. Ponder this, TLC has constructed Sister Wives into one of its most lucrative shows. Millions of viewers tune in to see the Browns fall apart, but the moment those fall, aparts pass over into legal fraud, the network might be implicated. If funds from relatives were manipulated under their lenses, How long before fans will begin questioning if TLC turned a blind eye? One of the crew remembers a producer saying into his headset, "Cut cameras now." There was no footage taken for almost half an hour as executives met behind closed doors with Kody and Robyn. It was then left to Meri and Christine to pace the set and seethe, waiting in frustration that insider claims. When shooting resumed, it was different. The wives were more subdued. Kody was still defensive but less incendiary, and Robyn's tears came on demand. In short, the actual fight had been edited out. What the audience subsequently saw was the safe version. The one that grabbed headlines but wouldn't get the network sued. Supposedly behind the scenes, TLC issued new instructions to the crew. Don't shoot anything frank about fraud, missing money, or legal repercussions. Stick to the drama being emotional, not monetary, because emotions will sell shows' financial scandals. Those invite lawyers. Here is the irony. By trying to bury the financial side of the fight, TLC may have only fueled the wives' determination. One insider claims Christine left the set muttering, "If they won't show the truth, we'll show it ourselves." And maybe that's the part TLC fears most. Because if Meri, Janelle, and Christine ever go public with their documents, the drama won't just be confined to the show. It will spill over into courtrooms, tabloids, and headlines that TLC can't censor or regulate. For the moment, the network is tiptoeing a tightrope. Making money off of Kody's turmoil while hoping Meri doesn't toss the match that may incinerate it all. When the cameras cut, the drama didn't subside. If anything, the actual fallout happened after the wives packed up and went back to their individual homes. For Meri, the showdown was cathartic. Insiders claim she returned to her rental that evening, relieved but also traumatized, telling a close friend that she had finally said out loud what I'd been holding in for years. That sort of statement doesn't just disappear when the cameras are off. It hangs in there. It festers. It energizes the next step. Christine, in the meantime, apparently phoned her children as soon as she walked in the door, describing how she'd stood up to Meri and how, for once, Kody couldn't talk his way out of it. One insider says she reportedly told a producer later, "It was the first time in years I felt like we were on the same side." Janelle, the practical wife to the end, is said to have spent hours rummaging through her own documents in the aftermath of the brawl. If Meri had evidence, Janelle needed to know what she could do. Taxes, property titles, business records. It was no longer about feelings, but about proof in Kody. He didn't handle it well. According to sources, he shut himself in Robyn's mansion, enraged by what he referred to as a betrayal agreement among the wives. He allegedly ran late into the night about being ambushed. Convinced TLC would fix the narrative and editing. But here's the problem. While Kody thought he still held the upper hand, his kids reportedly started asking questions, too. Several of the older Brown children who've long been skeptical of their father's favoritism were told about Meri's accusations. One even asked outright, "Dad, did you really use family funds for Robyn's home?" That question, posed by his own daughter, allegedly infuriated Kody. Robyn, meanwhile, doubled down on her typical coping mechanism to friends. She framed herself as the victim one more time, saying she never requested special treatment and that the other wives were jealous. But in Flagstaff, whispers told a different tale. Neighbors who'd seen her sprawling home, her cars, and her lifestyle found Meri's accusations far more believable than Robyn's tears. So while the episode painted the fight as dramatic but contained, the truth is the Browns left that set more divided than ever. For the first time, Meri wasn't just the isolated wife in the corner. She was the tinder that set fire to a blaze Kody could never extinguish. When the episode was finally broadcast, TLC believed they had covered adequately enough over the rough points. But no such luck. The fans weren't so gullible.